Hey everybody, it's Ben here from the Bonehead podcast, and welcome to Miniature Monday, our weekly news show about news releases, and things for the top miniature war games out there. Today, as ever, I'm joined by my two co-hosts. We'll start with Ian Warhannam Hannam this week. Ian, how are you?
Hello, I am great, thanks. Yourself?
Not bad at all. And joining us as well, we've got Bloodtithe Ben.
Hello.
How are you both? How are you both doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Back to work. Well, working from home tomorrow, so enjoying my last night of hobby freedom.
No, is the 3D printing going to suffer now?
Nah, I'll just run that over the night or during the day. There's not too much manual input that needs to be
As
done.
long as you can occasionally click print, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Just click print and reload, and you're there.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. So, guys, thanks for joining us. We're going to cover basically top Games Workshop news and top news that we have come across for other companies that we think you might like. And then we'll finish the show as ever with the speculation segment. And there's two things to discuss today, which is quite cool. So we'll start off with the Sunday preview because it's Monday now and it's just landed. So you can find out what is going to be on pre-order for next weekend. Guys, have you seen what we've got coming out next week?
Yeah, this is exciting.
Should we start with the Zote?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What do you guys think to the Zote?
He's been a long time coming, hasn't he?
Oh,
Yeah.
man, forever.
When was he teased?
When was it teased? I don't know. Before you were born, maybe?
Yeah, feels bad.
He looks a pretty beefy boy, doesn't he?
Yeah. The disappointing
Really
thing is
nice.
when the Zote was first spoiled, because there is actually a Zote in Blood Bowl, there was a lot of speculation that the Zote was going to be for Blood Bowl, and this guy is unfortunately too sci-fi for Blood Bowl, but just about sci-fi enough for 40k, and he's going to land in Blackstone Fortress.
Yeah, I mean he's got a gut plate. You could do something with that.
Yeah, he's got a gas
I think
mask.
I think you could chop him up a bit.
Gun hand. You'd have to use troll hands to change him up, and then he's got cables and stuff. So yeah, you could do it. I'd like to see somebody do it, but yeah.
Yeah.
So Blackstone Fortress, one model, cards, basically the same as the Amble. So the value is a little bit higher than normal for a miniature, but if you are a Blackstone Fortress player, it's pretty good. I mean, what was the Amble? £30?
About around that, yeah.
Yeah, I think. I got the Ambots, but not the Amble.
Oh, the Ambots were a steal.
Yeah, they were great.
But I think the Amble was £25-30. And now with the Games Workshop price increases, this model is going to be £30 to £35 for a single model.
It's quite steep, isn't it?
If you're getting it for the painting challenge, in my opinion, that's £10 to £15 too much. If you're getting it as an expansion to Blackstone, then it's a bargain. Really?
That's it, isn't it? Because you're essentially buying another character, another set of missions in a sense, aren't you?
Yeah.
You're kind of you're expanding your game really.
There's loot and stuff there. You've got coupons, tokens is probably more appropriate. You've got coupons here to buy other Games Workshop miniatures. No, that's just money. That's just known as money. Yeah, so that'll be out finally, and yeah, like you guys said, that was spoiled quite a long time ago. So it's nice to see that we're getting to some of these spoilers. This might be the oldest spoiler that isn't released yet by now.
It's got to be up there. Like, this was months and months ago. Was it a year?
Yeah.
Even?
I mean, I think this was before all the Adepticon stuff.
This was before Lumineth, wasn't it?
Oh, way
yeah,
before.
I think so.
I think this was around the Zote in the Spike magazine. It's got it because I remember the talk.
Ooh, well, yeah, maybe it was like September, October time it was spoiled. I don't know. Anyway, it's a cool looking model. Full RRP is going to be a tough sell just for getting the model. So the real question is whether you want to complete the quest and save Blackstone Fortress, or add a mercenary Xenos to your Warhammer 40,000 army, or just a nostalgic warm glow of owning a Zolt model. So looks like it's going to come with 40k rules as well.
Oh yeah, I think a lot of the stuff does. Which is
they've been quite good at doing that.
Yeah, I love that.
I think it's just like an extra thing that's like, oh, I could buy it for Blackstone Fortress, but if there's also the extra that I could still use it afterwards.
Yeah.
In games once I finish using it in Blackstone, then that's great. It's similar with the Underworlds, Warbands, and all sorts.
Yeah, it's a shame the Warbands are so incredibly underpowered for Age of Sigmar. With this guy,
Zarbag's
though,
awesome.
Well, yeah, actually Zarbag is awesome. With the Xenos guys here, and the new ways to play 40k, it could be quite cool. I mean, the Amble's a couple of 100 points, I think, for 40k. It could be a cool way to get these models onto the table, playing the new campaign system. which we're going to talk
Crusade.
about. Yeah, Crusade, which we'll talk about in a minute. But yeah, if there's a way to tie this in with that, that's very cool. Same with Kill Team.
Would love an Ordo Xenos Inquisition army at some point, and getting this guy in as like a little sketchy. Like, where did he come from? Would be great.
He's gone.
mercenary.
The Extremes or Renegade? I can't remember.
Oh
man, I can't remember from my time of reading Eisenhorn. Okay, next thing we've got up is Fabulous Bill.
Yeah, he's so cool.
So this
Love that model.
Fabius. He is a titular character in War of the Spider, the next book in the galaxy-spanning Cycling Awakening storyline. He returns to the ruins of Cadia. I thought Cadia got blown up, a treat, by being crashed into by a...
there was a load of Necron pylons I think they dug up, wasn't there? And then some warpy fun. And Abaddon blattered it, I think.
Yeah, I don't remember. I always assumed it got like Death Starred.
And it got Blackstone Fortress. The Chaos Abaddon drove a Blackstone Fortress into Cadia.
Oh, that'll do it, won't it?
That's definitely one way of doing it.
All we know is the planet broke before the guard.
It did.
So the recruitment posters say.
Yeah.
Now, the cool thing, so let's just scroll down a little bit here. It says, he returns to the ruins of Cadia, blah, 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 blah. The book has rules for Death Guard, Adeptus Custodes, Sisters of Silence, Imperial Assassins, and the Creations of Bile, a new way of playing Chaos Space Marines. Keep your eyes on the Warhammer community website as we'll be revealing some of the rules throughout the next week. War of the Spider is available as a hardback, blah, 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 blah. So I like what they're doing here. So there's extra rules for Death Guard, Custodes, Sisters of Silence, Imperial Assassins, and the Creations of Bile, a different roster for Chaos Space Marines. So these books, where they're coming out, so War of the Spider here, with stuff in for 5-6 factions, it's got to be a really great way of selling them.
Yeah, and I think now you've... Sorry, go on, Ben.
I was going to say, I think it's quite Marmite. With some... Yeah, because it's great that you get a bunch bundled in, but then there's also the thing where you only have one faction. You're basically buying
a ton of books.
A big book, which is not a massively cheap book.
No,
for like a few pages of rules for your one faction. So it's real hit and miss. The lore, though, I've heard is really good. So
yeah, if this was coming out once a year, it'd be a no-brainer. But because they're bringing these out every other month, it feels like it could get a bit much. But I think it's probably the only way to get across so many factions. And we saw this from Privateer Press with War Machine and Hordes. They'd do a release, and the release would have rules for multiple factions. And yeah, Ben, you're right, fatigue. But it also means that there's 6 different army types that are excited to see this book.
Yes, exactly. And
also, I think you've got to have in your mind as well that this is being written very much with 9th in mind. Although it's kind of announced in the context of 8th, I think it's going to have rules for armies which aren't going to get an updated army book maybe for some time.
Mm-hmm.
So this might be a bit of a bridging the gap.
Future-proofing.
And
very much in the way of celebrating the new campaign system. What did you say it was called? I can't remember. I keep forgetting.
Crusade.
Thank you. Actually, if you want to do quite a themey army, these kind of books, it's a cool modelling opportunity. I'm
really looking forward to it.
Should be really good. New from Black Library, Fabulous Bill is also the lead character in next week's release from Black Library. Manflayer sees Bile working on his new men. But the monstrous homunculi of the 13 Scars have another idea, as the Clone Father seeks out new allies and old enemies.
Sorry about that. Bit of seasonal sniffles.
Yeah,
sorry
there we go.
about that.
So this is book 3 in the Fabulous Bile series. MP3 audiobook, that's quite cool. So what else have we got going on? We've got a Warhammer 40,000 preview coming up next Saturday on June 13th at 2 p.m. What's in the box? So, guys, this is the first of 3 speculation points. I forgot about this one. What's in the box? What box is it?
Oh, it's going to be Necrons versus New Primaris.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. No brainer, really.
It's going to be the new starter set, isn't it?
Which looks awesome.
Yeah, depending on how much stuff is in it, but if it's any of the Necron stuff we saw last week or the week before, man, it'd be really exciting. There's some cool stuff coming out, which, you can never turn down cool stuff. So that's next Saturday. Obviously, we'll be talking about that next Monday. And this week on Warhammer Live, sadly for me, no Blood Bowl, but there is a whole bunch more Warhammer 40,000 daily. So there's going to be more stuff coming out about the new edition. We're going to briefly talk through the stuff that was talked about this week. But yeah, so if you are around and you're working from home, then you can tune in daily and keep the rest of the group chat alive and tell them what's going on.
Brilliant.
Just assign that to you.
Something to do.
Yeah. So that was today's news. That was Sunday preview. Okay, so talking of Warhammer 40,000 spotlights, we've mentioned Crusade several times. Every day, Games Workshop did a little bit of an update as to a new element of 40,000, and we'll start with Crusade, guys. Did you have a chance to look through the Crusade info?
Yeah, it looks pretty cool.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we've had talks about starting this in the local club.
Oh, yeah. Dan was straight on there.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to enable us all. Enable us all. So the first question, what is a Crusade campaign? If you like the idea of building an army up from scratch, then developing and adding to it over the course of multiple linked battles, you're going to love playing Crusade campaigns. From humble beginnings, your army will grow in size and strength as you spend resources you've earned on adding reinforcements, while your units unlock new skills from their hard-won experience in battle. Over the course of a campaign, your Crusade force will forge its own narrative, winning glory and earning enmities with each fresh victory and defeat. Heroes will rise from among your ranks, earning great renown or the honour of bearing mighty relics, maybe even ancient archaeotech war gear into battle. Then we've got some fancy rules here of stuff that you can pick up. There's also going to be rules for injuries, and it's really quite cool. I mean, before we go into anything else, what are your thoughts on having a campaign system where you add stuff to it?
I really like this, and it's quite good timing because I've got a few friends who I've been playing Warhammer with lately. Obviously not lately, but before the lockdown stuff. And we were doing a little campaign just kind of like this. We kind of invented our system. We had rules where things get injured and you play for relics, which get permanently added to your army. And then all this comes in, and it's pretty much the same kind of thing. And so from what we've played, if it's anything like it, it's really, really fun and thematic. And so I'm looking forward to it a lot.
It kind of fits what people have always wanted to do. It works. I say it works great. It works great in Necromunda, in Mordheim, in Blood Bowl to some extent, although your teams don't grow as quickly as you'd want. But that kind of growth element, as long as it's kind of balanced and perpetual and no one gets left out too much, it's pretty great fun.
Yeah. What about you, Ian? What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's one of those a bit like kind of Necromunda, where it's on the narrative side. You really need a group that are kind of going to go all in on that side of it. I don't think it's going to work so well if you're just trying to play with a bunch of match play regular people with that mindset. I think you've kind of got to try and almost detach yourself a little bit and kind of try and see the story more than the game.
Do you remember the first time we did this with Age of Sigmar, Ian? And it just was awful.
Yeah.
It was awful.
Yeah, so we tried like a bit of a slow grow friendly, but I think unless you're all on the same page, it can lead to some feel bads.
Now, the cool thing here is it says, what's more, you're not even limited to your local gaming group. You can use your Crusade force in any games you choose to play, be they friendlies against your regular opponents or competitive matches against hardened tournament veterans. In essence, provided you're using the Crusade rules and your opponent is happy to have a game, every battle counts. So one thing we saw from Warcry, and I think we've mentioned on this show before, is they're kind of allowing you to take part in games at different stages of your own campaign. Kind of with Blood Bowl or Necromunda, you get cash and hired guns and things to balance out the difference. It sounds like you can take your Crusade thing and be like, well, I'm at 600 power points, and then your opponent takes 600 power and you play a game and you grow your thing. It sounds like it's quite flexible, but you're building your army for your story. We don't know more, but I think that's probably the best way to do it.
Yeah, and I think this is really important because one thing which people often find with building like a narrative army or something like a Path to Glory or something like that is occasionally they'd want to play a game with someone else and they haven't got the force, or something like you want to play a different points level, but you want this fight to matter.
That's it,
matter in your narrative. Yeah,
we kind of have that in our Blood Bowl league as well.
Yeah,
like you will kind of want to try out a tournament build. If there were rules to play a tournament build team against your league team and have your game matter, because that's what this is all about, then you get the best of both worlds, and this could be really cool for that. So getting started, to take part in a Crusade campaign, you first need to create an order of battle, a list of units drawn from one of 7 factions, with a maximum power rating of 50. This is your Crusade's forces initial supply limit, from which you can choose an army list to field in each battle. Your supply limit can grow in size as you gain resources over the course of the campaign, enabling you to gradually recruit new units to strengthen the existing pool at your disposal. So it sounds a bit like Kill Team in that regard, where you have a list of dudes and you can only deploy 70 points worth.
Cool.
I like that. That's pretty cool.
It allows you actually to plan out your purchases if you are going for a new army. Plan out your purchases, get those, you can get them made up and know that at some point you're going to be able to use it.
Yeah, I like that. I cannot wait to find out more about this system, because this is exactly the danger level, isn't it? That 500 to 1,000 point armies.
Yeah.
Oh, and there's more on that here. Not quite here, but this is command points first. Now, I think you guys were talking about this in the group chat, and the command points are changed up a little bit. Is that right?
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, so instead of coming directly from the detachments you take, they've kind of flipped it on its head. So you're getting your command points depending on the size of the game, and then you actually spend those as part to get detachments, I think. Am I right in thinking that, Ben?
That's right, yeah. And the first one tends to be free as long as it includes your Warlord.
Yep, that's cool.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. I mean, we don't know quite how freely the CPs are going to be used. I imagine that's not going to change up massively, because it was kind of a really important part of 8th edition, which they stole from
They've
AOS.
shown a new 7th generic command.
Oh, as orc players, this gets us excited.
Yeah, that's fun. So yeah, basically it's if someone tries to retreat from a combat, it gives you a chance to roll a dice for every model in your army, so not just in the unit, that's within a range. I think keep scrolling down, it might even be there. Yep. Go.
Cut them down.
There we go. Cut them down.
So
and then, do mortal wounds.
Use this stratagem when an enemy unit falls back. Before any models in that unit are moved, roll 1d6 for each model from your army that is within engagement range of that enemy unit. For each result of 6, that enemy unit suffers 1 mortal wound. Ooh. That will certainly hurt if activated on a unit of 30 orc boys.
Yeah.
Roll 1d6 for each model from your army that is within engagement. So
what's that? 3 inches?
1 inch in 40k, unless they change that.
Oh, is it? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe not as good as I initially thought, but still, if it's a big unit versus a big unit, you're going to get a load.
Natural wastage of people there. I like that. That's cool. More core stratagems are really useful. It does add complexity to the game, but as long as there's some kind of crib sheet for you to choose them from, it won't be too complicated. I mean, how many is there in AOS, like core ones? Is it 3?
They expanded it
to 6 now?
Yeah, so I think, because you initially had your Inspiring Presence. That's your generic one. What else?
Can't remember.
Sorry, it's getting foggy.
It's been a while since we've played.
They recently added in an opportunity to reroll ones at a few different points.
Okay. Oh, they had the one where you run, isn't it? You run 6.
Oh, that's it. Yeah. So that was in before.
Reroll charge or something. I can't. Yeah.
It was max run, reroll charge, and automatically pass. And it's cool to see some other ones. Once you've played a few games, you kind of get used to them, don't you? But for a new player, having all the different things to come across, it does increase that level of difficulty to get in there.
I've heard that complaint quite a lot, actually.
Yeah.
People don't like stratagems that much.
It's less of an issue if you forget them. It's more if you forget what your opponent can do that it's often...
And they bamboozle you. Yeah, the gotcha mechanic of knowing more. It's interesting. I wouldn't be surprised if there wasn't restrictions, or at least if you start playing the campaign way and build your army up, you'll get to learn them easier. And I like the way the CPs are split across this, because actually there's less opportunity. You might get 1 or 2 a game instead of, at first. Yeah. But, there's a lot there to learn. So CPs changing looks to be a very reasonable change. 4 sizes fit all. We spoke about command points, getting the scale right. Arranging to play a game of Warhammer 40,000 is one thing, but settling on what size of battle to fight is another thing entirely. To help you decide, the new edition comes with 4 recommended sizes of battle: Combat Patrol, Incursion, Strike Force, and Onslaught, designed to help add guidance and structure to your game. From army size, composition, and the likely duration of the game to the escalating size of the battlefield, for larger games, and even terrain density and positioning, everything is covered to help you get the most accessible and enjoyable experience from each game. So we've got some graphics here, so basically 1 through 4 for each of the sizes, and it's literally the same in hours. So Combat Patrol up to 1 hour, that's where I'm looking at. Incursion up to 2 hours, that's kind of a Blood Bowl game, that's cool. 3 hours is a real chunky game, and 4 hours that's commitment.
That's the day, yeah.
But this is something.
I think these are quite ambitious, if I'm honest. Like,
what, do you mean the times?
Yeah, I think.
Well, that won't include setup time, will it?
Yeah, I think in terms of like tournament play, that's pretty standard. But for just like casual games, that's quite.
So Strike Force 2K.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're generally at a tournament looking at 2.5 to 3, aren't you?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Really
like that's
max.
hardcore is up to 3 hours. I think it's probably up to 4. I would word it, but. Maybe they changed that in. Oh, because they did reduce the model count.
I was going to say, remember, the unit points have gone up, so your Strike Force is now going to have less stuff in.
Yeah.
It could be interesting. Hopefully that's how it'll play out, because regardless of the new edition and how exciting it is, there are still going to be unbalanced power lists. That's just part of being a gamer.
It's any game, yeah.
Yeah, and if there's a way to reduce that effect, or at least speed up the amount of time you are playing that game.
If you know you're going to lose early, you may as well get a few hours at the bar.
Yeah, exactly. So create the battlefield. You guys picked this up in the group chat earlier this week, talking about the battlefield sizes. Now, we're all used to things in 12 inches, aren't we?
Yeah.
And this is different, and you guys figured out why.
Yeah, so it comes down to basically a lot of the boards they've been releasing recently, things like Kill Team, Warcry, some of the other kind of battlefields in a box sort of things, where I think they're more kind of in line with a lot of board game companies that are kind of, there's a design element where it fits on your dining room table.
Yeah. So if you're playing Combat Patrol or Incursion, you want to use 2 kill zone boards. Strike Force will be 4, and something bigger will be 6. And you're right, I like it actually. You're not losing a lot of space, but it does fit in. It does feel a bit sad when you're like, I'm supposed to be playing on a 6x4, and these boards are a little bit short. Actually, not going to have much effect. And now it's kind of like it's okay in the rules now.
It seemed just like a bit of a. That's what you described it. It's just like it's okay. Like they didn't really need to say it. I feel. You know what I mean? They
didn't, but you always felt short. You always felt short. You always felt like it wasn't a proper game because you didn't have the full space. Now, if you've got a 6x4, you just live in the dream.
And it's worth saying, reiterating that is a minimum size.
Yeah.
As it says
at the end of the day, it's a guideline, isn't it? Everyone should play what they want to play.
Yeah.
And, what
and as Captain Barbosa knows, they be guideline.
Mission statement: to further reinforce the distinction between each size of game, there are also different mission sets designed for each to replicate the kind of military operations that would likely be performed by forces of that size.
See, that's really good. Really good.
Yeah.
In match play alone, there are 18 Eternal War missions to choose from or randomly generate. Here's a sneak peek of Combat Patrol mission pack and one of the missions in full. So Combat Patrol missions: Incisive Attack, Outriders, and Circle. We've got Incisive Attack here. It's got its own deployment. You've got the board sizes, you've got the objective, primary objective, take and hold. I like this, guys. I think this is a really cool way of doing it, and it's more ways to play.
Yeah.
Instead of
I think that's the whole thing with the whole point sizes and these missions and the table things. It's about kind of validating choice and different ways of playing.
Yeah.
Which I think is something pretty new in one of the main kind of series games.
It is actually, isn't it? Yeah. Before it was always just line them up, knock them down. Okay, cool. You've gone for a balanced list. I've gone for an alpha strike list. You lose.
Yeah, but it's really nice to see them officially addressing this as well, saying this is the rules, bringing it to the forefront, because they they have tended to half-ass it a bit in the past, haven't they? Like with the Age of Sigmar skirmish one.
Yeah, meeting engagements. It was like a good start, but I don't know how good that was.
I think they've learned a lot from Kill Team.
I think so too.
Yeah, it's just really nice actually to kind of say
it's a tactical game at that point.
Instead of it being a kind of a weird, quirky side bit to your standard 2K game, it's just really nice that it's included in the forefront of the rules.
Yeah.
It's not an expansion. It's not anything different. It's a valid way to play.
This is going to get more speculative players into it, I think, than anything else.
I agree.
And I think that's dangerous for somebody like me who's got the models and needs just a couple of excuses.
It's like, hey, that's a nice kill team you have. How about I could just extra unit in?
Yeah, exactly.
Start collecting box here, start collecting box here.
Honestly, that's it. That's right. So size of incursion, 50 power, 1,000 points. Strike force, 2,000 points. Onslaught, 3,000 points. Combat patrollers aim specifically at small scale skirmishes and vanguard operations. As such, it is the perfect size for lunchtime games, and you should easily be able to finish in under an hour, and you don't even need an especially large surface to play on. Combat Patrol is a great way to get started with the game if you're taking your first steps into the grim darkness of the far future, or you are already a fan of Warhammer 40,000 Kill Team and looking to make the jump over to the larger scale game, just like you guys said. So I think Combat Patrol is definitely going to be something we're looking at, and sadly, it's going to go immediately to, is there a way to play a tournament or organised gameplay kind of Combat Patrol? And it'll be interesting to see how quickly it takes for people to game that system. But yeah, Ian, it says that grab yourself a start collecting set and you're pretty much there for the new Combat Patrol army system. Dangerous, very dangerous. Let's scroll away from this page immediately.
Hey, look, I can imagine how cool would this be?
Oh no.
You pay like an entry fee. Okay, it's going to be a bit steep, 50 quid. But you get a blind start collecting box.
Oh wow! Oh
you
wow!
build it. That'd be crazy.
Hangover Ball 2. Let's do it.
Yeah.
40k edition.
Hey, lockdown. We could do it.
Lockdown. Money you've saved.
Oh wow!
But no, even if just it'll be really interesting. I haven't actually been through the start collectings to look at their relative power. I remember I did with
AOS.
A little bit kind of pointing all out and sort of saw as well. But yeah, it'd be interesting. I bet there's a pretty big disparity with some of them.
Oh, definitely so. Anyway, let's move on to the next page. Match play, points, and an app. So I don't think there's a huge amount on here to go over, but you've got sizes and things for match play, secondary objectives, which kind of looks like the ITC stuff.
Yes, yeah, I think it sounds like I've just been talking to some of the Hampshire guys who are very much into ITC.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've borrowed a lot from it.
I think best, I think.
It's really highly regarded. So
it just adds extra layers to the game. The more time you are spent playing the game instead of just murdering, the more you get out of it. I mean, Blood Bowl is my favourite game of all time, but that's because there are two games going on. There is the battle, and then there is the actual game. And 40k lacks that sometimes, but these secondary objectives and a way to win the game but lose the battle, then you actually have yourself a really you've got some tactical decisions to make, and that's what we want. We don't just want to be farming dice. Sometimes we do, but we want to be able to, it's more fun to lose half your army if you still win the game because you sacrificed them in the right way.
And that's extremely 40k, isn't it?
Looking like a commissar.
Exactly like a commissar. So they've got some cool objectives
to win.
Yeah, and I'm not going to read through this, but they are just showing off the fact that there is a lot of cool stuff coming from missions. And then here, the reason we're on this page, points values. So we've touched on this already. Points values are going up. Finally, as part of developing the new edition, points values were reviewed and have been adjusted up across every faction. This may sound odd at first, but it yields several benefits. Firstly, games will play faster with, generally speaking, smaller armies on each side. This also makes starting a fresh army for the new edition a more accessible and quicker experience. It also means there's room for more granularity when establishing how powerful one unit or ability is compared to another. And a global points reset ensures everyone starts in the same place on day one, with no established meta or best army. They've got a couple of examples here, but I mean, they do this with the General's Handbook every year, don't they, Ian?
Well, it's chapter approved in 40k.
Oh no, I mean, but with Age of Sigmar, they've been doing this for forever, for the entire time of Age of Sigmar, and it brings around that kind of rotation that you feel like in a game like Magic the Gathering or Hearthstone, where one set goes out, another one comes in, and the meta readjusts.
I really like this going up though, because to me, 40k was always, when I was playing, it was that kind of 1500 points. That was what you aimed for.
Oh gosh, although it's the 1750, which just didn't feel right.
I remember that, yeah.
Crept up. But it'll be nice to get back to those levels, because it is a game that I think you want more space on the board to move, where some things have got bonkers movement. You want to be able to really kind of take advantage of that. So yeah, it'd be nice to have a bit more space on the board, terrain meaning a bit more kind of, like they said, granularity. So it could be a couple of big guys versus a bit more of a horde.
That would be really entertaining.
Yeah, I think it would be great.
Ben, you're our resident 40k expert. What are your thoughts on this?
I like it. I love the fact that the really low-powered horde units are going up, because I remember, I think they've highlighted cultists there. I don't know if they said in the article. Cultists were like the prime example, where they had a unit which was really weak, and so they reduced the points by 1, which happened to be like 25%. And then they became really good, and it's just like you can't really do much with it because it's such a massive change per model.
It's bring back half points.
Well, that's the it's also quite interesting because 40k has maintained a really granular list building system, whereas Age of Sigmar went way the opposite way, and you could only buy it in 10s and your upgrades were free. This feels like a kind of semi-shift to make the points bigger. I don't know, make it a bit more simple for people, because ultimately there's going to be less number crunching, I think, because you're going to be able to afford less models. I don't know, it's a cunning way of doing it. The last thing to mention on this page is new edition, new app. So on the same day that Warhammer 40,000 pre-orders go live, a new app will be launched beside it, providing several cool features to help you, including a full matched play army builder. The new app will do a number of things to assist players with their games, but one of the most useful will be the ability to build army lists using the updated points values and attachments. We'll have more on the Warhammer 40,000 app soon, so watch this space. So I would imagine we're going to see the more news on this week. Doesn't say anything about data sheets though, guys.
No.
I'm holding out hope until they say data sheets, because if it's like the AOS app, I'll be over the moon.
Yeah, but you've already got Battle Scribe for adding up lists, haven't you?
Exactly, yeah.
The good thing is that you have the updated points list. Now that's always fun with Age of Sigmar when the rotation happens.
Love that.
It's always good fun to start crunching the numbers, and I mean, hey, you might spend as much time on this as you do on Bejeweled, but when it first goes live. Oh, what's the Al Candy Crush? That's the one. This could be Warhammer 40,000 Candy Crush, and to be fair, I genuinely think that's only a matter of time anyway. I'm surprised we didn't see that on sale in the Steam store last week. We had World of Warships last week, so why not? Some sweet paint jobs there. Okay, next we've got some very valuable news for all you wargamers out there. It's a Warhammer merch site. Warhammer merchandise is great, isn't it? We love drinking our tea from themed mugs. Well, I've got my Bonehead podcast one here, so tick. Wearing t-shirts that dedicate to your chosen factions and adorning our walls with glorious art from our favourite games. We're pretty sure you love that too, which is why we've partnered with Push Entertainment to make a brand new website where you can pick up loads of awesome Warhammer merch. So you got some cool shirts, a load of cool shirts. You got hoodies, phone cases, mugs. Hey, merch is good fun. I approve of merch. You guys approve of merch?
I approve it in theory, but the lack of the destruction section on there is devastating.
For Sigmar.
Where's my Scragrot mug? Or my Gordrak pencil case?
Xenos, Armies of the Imperium, Armies of Chaos.
You go up to the kind of options.
Be the gone. Shot by faction.
Yeah. So they had.
Oh, destruction coming soon.
Yeah.
There's no Age of Sigmar stuff there, Ian. So don't worry.
Well, I don't care about the rest, though.
Xenos armies. What else is there for orcs? I love that it's actually in orcs and you can sort
there
by
is some
faction.
really good 40k orc stuff on there, to be fair.
Cool shirts, cool
Goth
mugs.
shit. How cool is that?
That is pretty cool. I love this kind of stuff.
I think around Christmas time, a few of those bits are going to make it on my list.
Yeah.
Hey, Ben's actually got some. He's got a corn Christmas jumper that I got him last year for running Hangover.
I think he's corn leggings next, Ben.
I think that. Well, he's playing a Slanesh team in our Blood Bowl tournament.
Oh, you can't say that out loud.
Yeah, I go. I even wrote it in my team breakdown. I was like, our very own corn expert, Bloodtithe Ben, is playing Slanesh as an undercover operative.
Pronounce the title.
That's it. So we got some Warhammer merch, and then it's just not going to work. Warhammer Crime, new books revealed. So when the world has been locked down, the writing adepts. So there's some new novels that are coming out focused on law and order in the 40k world.
I can't stress how excited I am to read this. So I don't actually read that often now. I don't know what it is. Maybe I just mostly audiobook now. I find it hard to find the time to sit down with the book. Yeah. But I think with this I will, because I love crime. I love like detective-y stuff. And in 40k, I think this could be amazing.
So I will say that there's audiobooks on here. There's a load of Games Workshop audiobooks on Audible. And why read when you can listen and paint at the same time?
Mm-hmm.
So huge proponent of audiobooks, and Toby Longsworth is just the best narrator ever.
He's so good.
Right, so what do we got? Anything Fire and Steel. I like the book covers, Flesh and Steel.
It's just such a kind of a new area. Like they had Eisenhorn, which is kind of crime.
Absolutely.
I'd say the genre, it'd be crime genre.
Exactly what Eisenhorn is when it gets.
And Eisenhorn was amazing.
Oh, it's just the best novel trilogy ever. The fourth one was nothing, but the first three were just insanely good.
Yes.
Warhammer Crime Anthology. I mean, the world is a horrible place at the moment, but the 40k world is significantly worse. And why not take a dip?
Direction they're going with the covers, actually. I remember one of the complaints about old rule books and stuff used to be like, you want to read it on the train and maintain your street cred, but it's got a huge skull on it, and it kind of
much better to have a hand with blood. I don't know, just skulls you don't like in,
doesn't it?
Yeah, they're adult books. They look like books you can read anywhere, which I think you're bang on in. I think it's less of a problem these days, which I think is great. But actually, you're going to be fine reading that anywhere except maybe church. So, and then I don't know.
They've got a torture of instrument hung on the wall, so I think it'll be fine.
Cool. So that is crime novels. We'll go for it now. We'll bring another bit of speculation in. This is the Art of New 40k. So this was another one of the articles they released last week. There's some great artwork, but the reason I wanted to highlight it was this piece here. Did you guys see this piece with the aliens on?
Oh, this is beautiful.
Oh, well, it goes without saying that it's beautiful. Can we zoom in a bit? Can we zoom in on the detail here? But the really cool thing is there's a bunch of alien races there that are unattributed. So you got these weird head guys that look like they're from...
they're Hitchhiker's Guide from the Galaxy.
That's the one. That's the one. And it might be that these are just Easter eggs to that. So, Hitchhiker's Guide and some other aliens and things. But with the great work, and let's face it is great work they've done with Blackstone, introducing elements that you wouldn't have had, there would be no reason for you to have an Amble. Mm-hmm. But they've done it for Blackstone. I would love to see some of this weird Xenos stuff come into the games, come into miniatures through that angle, or if there's a way to have, I don't know, wandering monsters or something in 40k, or just attachments and things. Rogue Trader was so good because there was that element of alien life that you could have in a story wise. Ben, you've already spoke about it, Auto Xenos with alien helpers, introducing stuff that really has no alignment. Could be a really cool way to shift up the meta, add extra elements, and be great for Kill Team and for Combat Patrol.
Yeah, and it gets people talking, and speculating. I think that's really exciting. I know with the Astartes series, the YouTube series.
Yeah.
They have the weird kind of alien form in that, and it gets people digging into the really old school lore, or saying it could be connected to this, and what is it? And it's kind of really fun not knowing and trying to work it out.
Mystery. going to be a big universe. Bit
Yeah. I mean, the universe is big, isn't it? There's going to be stuff which we haven't seen yet, and that's why I really like with 40k is it's kind of infinitely expandable.
Yeah, I'd like to see more of that expanded, and when you see things like this, you get excited because it might be just new stuff, just to change it up.
New tower sub-factions, every one of them.
I want to see these in... I remember ages ago there was some rules for kind of like monster creation.
Oh, in White Dwarf, man, that was so good.
The pit fighting one as well.
There was vehicle building as well, actually. Yeah, man, it would be great to see stuff like that, especially because if something like Combat Patrol, you can chuck in a 100-point monster and it will be an important element to the story, but it won't be massively overpowering. If you put a random amble in a 2,000-point game of 40k, no one would care about it. My 10 assault intercessors would just run over and it would be over. But
in
actually,
a kill team.
Well, yeah, exactly. In kill team with an amble, now it's a thing. Now it's a story. But anyway, I wanted to show that off because I thought it'd be worth talking about. Now we're going to go on to non-games workshop bits and bobs, and we have got this. I think you tagged in, wasn't it? Heroes Infinite. We've lost him, so we'll talk about it.
Yeah, Ian did mention this, and we can talk about it, and I would love to talk about stuff like this.
All right, let's start. So this is it three? That's just a Patreon, isn't it? This is an extraordinary 3D printable. Oh, Ben, this is right up your street.
Yes.
He's alive. We lost you for a bit, Ian.
Sorry, you crackled up on me.
Ah, yeah, you went AWOL. Right, so we were just saying this you discovered, and it's a Patreon for 3D printed stuff.
Yeah.
So what was it particularly on here? Was it the June releases?
Yeah. So they've also done a little thing for July, if you want to kind of look ahead. But just some really cool.
Raging Heroes are really good. They're known for like really good female sculpts. I know they have a range before Sisters of Battle got remade. They're really popular for that because they had a really good range of like Battle Sisters and also like Slanesh stuff. And the quality is just amazing.
So, and the July release will be cool Goblin.
Yeah, that's cool.
He is very cool.
Man, this is some really quality miniature stuff here. So, Ben, you signed up to one or two patrons, have you?
Yeah, and I recently did another one because they it was Monstrous Encounters, had a bunch of whites, so it looks like I'm doing a death army. But
fantastic.
Yeah, they're really good. It's a whole new world, and I kind of bought a printed thing. Oh, it'll be really cool. I get like cheap minis on Thingiverse, and it's I think getting to the point when it's not so cheap because I want to subscribe to every Patreon out there, and you end up paying like £40 a month because you're subscribed to all these things you forget about. But you get so much for the quality and the price, and yeah, it's they're really good, and so I'm always on the lookout. There's a lot out there. It's generally like a whole new business model for some companies now. Like Raging Heroes, I think, are quite new to this. Normally, they sell resin models.
It's interesting. Method. If you're good at 3D print, we've said this a couple of times now on the show, haven't we? That if you can 3D sculpt, you can make money just 3D sculpting because there is now a market for printers.
Like the one I'm just subscribed to, he's I think it's just a guy who learned last year how to 3D sculpt, and his quality's improved massively, and he's got like 600 patrons at $10 a month. That's a pretty good monthly wage.
That's a very good monthly wage.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go. Everybody learn to digital sculpt.
Yeah.
Cool. So that was and is Heroes Infinite by Raging Heroes. Next up on the news, we've got this. I don't know if you guys had a chance to see this. Kickstarter, Yarkassi, Sci-Fi Desert City and Stronghold 3D printable STL terrain and miniatures for tabletop wargaming, including houses, fortifications and scatter terrain. So this is Mos Eisley.
I was going to say,
inspired by.
Yeah, exactly. So it's quite expensive. So this is $45.40. It's to pay for the lawyers. So there's options of models, there's options of the buildings. I think the buildings are okay. IP wise, they definitely got a style, but yeah, I mean, if you paint them sand, then they'll probably look like Mos Eisley. If you paint them grey and dingy and put jungle stuff on them, I think they would be absolutely fine. They look cool scale wise, but obviously, Ben, you've said this a billion times to me. You can just scale things up and down with your printer. That's got
I imagine they're very much designed for Star Wars Legion.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. And they've got some cool miniatures in there, some very stylized ones. So I think realistically, if I was going to do anything, it would be looking at the terrain for this, but it is quite expensive. I mean, we said, Patreon £10 a month, but this is £41. All models, all reach stretch goals. But you have to go £75 to get the Sci-Fi Desert Trading Post. So we can get physical printed ones of it. I mean, it's cool, but it's not probably cool enough for me to want to spend that. I mean, I suppose if you've got a 3D printer, you can just print money, Ben, is that right?
Is there a commercial license on there?
Yeah, that's the big thing. If you can commercial license it, it's pretty good.
I imagine
it's the thing with all of these is the upfront cost is quite a lot.
Yeah.
But then you can kind of save otherwise, but this is still quite a lot. And like for printing cost yourself, it's not going to be too much extra, but if then you ask people to print for you, the price is going to go quite a lot and it's going to be quite expensive to print.
Yeah. So commercial license, you're looking at £175.
Yeah.
So you'd have to do some work to make that back. But anyway, thought it was worth sharing. And next up, we've got Tabletop Miniatures, Wargames, RPGs, Collectors and Painting. This is Fast Age Sun. So this is Lizardmen, basically. Kind of cartoony Lizardmen. I don't know if you guys have seen this.
I have a look at this.
How far can we zoom in? So,
those spearmen are very much like Land That Time Forgot, kind of.
Yeah.
They've got that classic vibe, haven't they?
Yeah.
It's the kind of lizardman that
crocodile with a cardboard triangle stuck on its back.
Yeah, you want Kevin Sorbo to be fighting these. We've got lizards, pirates now, actual pirates, basically honorary squigs.
Yeah.
Again, they do some cool models, and that's the thing, is that there's just so much of this going on. It's very stylized, but if you kind of like your Conan, Arabian fantasy, this is the Huckleberry for you, and you can get it quite cheap. So Pikeman, £12, £11. It's basically £11 for an option, and the bundles go up.
Are these files or are these miniatures?
This is, I believe, files.
Right.
This campaign is for a set of digital files, not physical. We also recommend to print miniatures with a resin printer. These have been printed with an anacubic. It's on S.
Printing pictures of them.
No, instead of using what's the other one, Ben? Is it FDM?
Yeah, FDM is.
I just imagine people with a load of posters of nicely sculpted miniatures on their wall.
Their HB inkjet, just printing it out over and over and over again. So yeah, if you're in the market for fantasy lizards and things like that, Far Age Sun, New Horizons. And we've got one more, which is The Giant Project. Again, another digital STL, because apparently Kickstarter...
Another giant mention.
Oh, yeah, well, I had to do it. I saw it, I had to include it, because this one actually would work for Blood Bowl. Miniatures are mainly giant STL files. However, you can also find some scenery in there as well. It is £8 for a giant, 120mm tool. I thought it was worth mentioning because obviously there's the news and rumours around the Sons of Behemat for Age of Sigmar. And there is a size comparison of a poorly scrubbed out squig hopper.
Okay. I mean, that's shorter than even the Ale Guzzler.
Do you reckon?
Yeah.
The hoppers are pretty tall, man.
I've got one in my drawer. I'm gonna have a look.
I think, yeah. It's not far off. I mean, it's not the same size as the huge ones.
Worst case though, 110%. Just beef it up a bit.
Bump it up. It's a pretty cool model. It would work for Blood Bowl. You just need to snip this off, or just change it up, or maybe just use it as that.
I mean, that's fine. That's a weapon, isn't it? It's not a blade or anything. You could say that's a kind of a punch duster.
Yeah, exactly. Extra little goblin.
I think it's a great idea because, yeah, like you say, with the Sons of Behemoth coming, like you could get quite a lot of different giants with this.
Yeah, we've got a couple of other giants as well, undead giants and things like that that are kind of work in process. We've got unlockable terrain and things as well.
Actually, yeah, those other poses look a lot better to me.
Axes look great.
Yeah, that looks cool.
Axes look great, and this one looks very cool as well. But that will be unlocked at the €800 mark. And where are they at the moment? They are at 330, so they've reached their target. They've got 24 days to go. 28 backers. It's a cool giant for a tenner for the STL files.
Yeah. Hang on, go down to that one with his arms open again. He's like, what did you do to the carpet?
Yep.
Quick scrap.
Yep, I like it. All right, brilliant. That is everything for miniatures news. We have just got speculation time. And it's the rumour engine, June 2nd. This one does not give a lot away, does it?
No.
This could be anything.
Could be literally anything. I don't know. The thing is, Age of Sigmar has got so much steampunk in it. Like, the ruined scenery is cogs now. Like, it's weird.
Yeah, very true.
But you're right, this is 40k. But is it terrain, is the question.
Is it 40k though? I mean, you've got Necromunda, you've got Blackstone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, it could be even if we're talking about, you know, like Titanicus and Imperialis, if they do eventually go on to that sort of epic scale, that's an epic game. Why not?
It could be. It could be.
It's got an integral base sort of thing, which suggests, yeah, it's going to be scenery or something like that.
Well, that's why I thought it'd be terrain. Yeah, that's why I thought it'd be scenery or some kind of objective marker or something for the new 40k.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
Likelihood is we're not going to find out what this is until we're old men. Which is a bit of a shame.
Clock.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Basically, Ian, when William's 40 instead of 4, he'll be able to look back on this and go, oh, it's that. But yeah, this gives nothing away. And quite frankly, of all the ones we've had recently, this is probably the least exciting rumour engine I've seen in a while.
I agree.
I think it's because there's just nowhere to really go with it.
Yeah.
The others were like, oh, this kind of looks elfy or kind of looks vampire-y. Or
This
could be anything.
There's nothing to go on.
Probably not Eldar. Span it. Probably not
Sleep.
Tyranid. Yeah.
It's got exposed cogs. Yeah, I mean, it's not even weird and wacky, is it? It's just quite functional.
What if it's dwarves?
Squats.
Squats would be sweet, but no. What if it's what if they're bringing dwarves back in Age of Sigmar?
Could be.
I mean, it won't be, but you know.
You've already got the carriage on fitting the mechanical dwarf 5, haven't they? It'll be some, and they got the Slayer dwarves, haven't they, with the 5 Slayers?
I don't know. Anyway, as far as rumour engines go, not the most exciting. Something is going to be made of metal.
Yeah.
There we go.
There you go.
There we go.
We can look forward to that.
Yep. Solved at some point. I don't know. Maybe it's just. I don't know. Maybe it's on the wheelchair of a Primarch.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Maybe this is the Emperor. How disappointing would that be? That we've got the word like a really lame rumour engine, and it turns out that it's actually the Emperor's wheelchair.
We all thought Rogel Dawn lost a hand, but actually it was both his legs.
It's both his legs. Yeah, that's it. He's in a little walker, and it's going to change 40k for the all of time.
Yeah,
could be the old ones. That would be cool. And that was one of my favourite rumours for the big 40k release a few weeks ago, was that the old ones were coming back.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Necrons, you know, there's a connection.
There is a connection. That's exactly it. I was so excited. I was like, it would be very cool if they just brought the Necrons back or the Slan back. Just the carnage that would ensue would be amazing.
Yeah. The old the Brain Boys.
Yeah.
Called them.
Yeah, it would be very cool. It would be very cool. I mean, they've got a lot of space to explore in the 40k universe. So that was a very 40k themed Miniature Monday. Hopefully we'll see some more Age of Sigmar stuff soon, but I think next week it's looking like just more 40k. So hey, if you're a 40k fan, not bad. Let us know your thoughts on what's coming out, what you think is coming out, what you think this rumour engine is, because we are as stumped as probably everybody else. There we go. Rumour engine. Done. It's time to play Guess the Game system. Yeah, it's a tough one. Isn't that just? Right, guys, if you are both happy and we've covered everything, I think we'll wrap it up here for a show.
Yeah, sounds good.
Brilliant. Right. Thanks very much for watching. We'll see you next week. And don't forget to let us know if you've seen something cool going on in the community that you'd like us to talk about. So we're going to sign off and we will see you next week for Miniature Monday. See you later.
See you later.